so does that mean we're going to be live?
We're about to be live.
Oh, okay.
I think if it works. And
Does it's being live streamed right now?
well,
So does that mean we're going to be live?
yeah.
Yeah, we're about to be live. Oh,
You know what? The thing is that I can't see my full Zoom at all. Well, but that's all right.
does
Okay.
it being live streamed right now?
We're live streaming.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
You know what? The thing is that
We're live streaming. We can cut all this out when I move it over to the video, but we're live.
Okay. And why is it? I hear some talking in the
Okay, I'm gonna
background.
have to turn it off.
Okay.
I have it on. We're live streaming. We can cut all this out when I move it over to the video. And of course, I can't find it on my
Okay. And why is
desk.
it? I hear some talking in the
Okay, I'm gonna
background.
have to turn it off. I'm just gonna try and turn them off or close it. Okay.
Wow. It's never a dull moment, you know? Hey, if we can do this and persevere, this should be encouragement for anyone and everyone to just give it a try and persevere
Persevere through anything,
through
right?
any. Yes, yes.
All
And speaking of
right.
persevering, we're
Uh-huh.
persevering through Pure Foods, right?
Yeah,
Section of
but we
Greater
gotta
Health.
go. We got. Hi,
Yeah.
Patrice.
Hi, Shonda. How are you?
Good, good. We made it. We're here. Um, so yeah, go ahead and let's introduce the remainder of Pure Foods for us.
Huh. Well, like Shonda just said, we're wrapping up the section of Pure Foods. I think it's the second chapter, I think, right? Or is it?
Right.
Yeah. And so Stormy has so much in this just this section of Pure Foods, but I loved how she begins this about talking about learning new habits. And I think that's a big part of just living according to God's way is incorporating good habits. And one thing she pointed out, and I just verbatim, she said, we have 260 trainable taste buds. Wow. I said, that's fascinating and that's encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I was just thinking too about learning new habits since we're still kind of in the new year. You know, it's a
Mm,
good time to add some good new habits.
agree. I agree. That's a very good reminder that, yeah, we don't have to call them resolutions. We have to call them anything other than let's create some good habits. Yeah.
Yeah, and we know that we're just getting a new start. We can begin a new start anytime, but why not get started right now?
Yes.
So, what about learning new habits? Do we need to know?
Well, I'm gonna harp on those 260 taste buds because I've prayed and I continue to pray for many people when they're trying to make new choices with healthier choices with their food, and it's hard, especially if you're addicted to food or you just have a habit of it, of eating a lot of food that's not good for you. That encouragement that God has made us so that we have 260 260 trainable taste buds. That tells me I can change because my
Right,
taste buds were designed to be trained.
right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, many of us have just trained them for the wrong foods, but
Yeah.
that's okay. We can retrain them, right?
Yes, we
It's like she
can.
said, you learn to love the foods that you do now that may not be, you know, good for you or serving you well. So we can learn to do something new. So
Yeah.
that's what we're here to call everyone to just do maybe just one new thing. It's always just about one new thing and one
Yeah.
new step.
Yeah, that is so encouraging and encouraging stories. Our daughter, she's just like January, I'm doing no sugar. She's doing no sugar. And when I mention other things, she's like, Mom, I'm doing one thing at a time. And that's a great reminder. You don't have to
Hmm.
change every single habit at one time. Start with that one and be consistent.
Hmm.
So proud of her.
Well, that's good. So as we continue learning new habits, what are some I guess, some keys that we can apply while learning new habits. I think the first one was keeping it simple.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Keep it simple.
So, in
Yep.
addition to one step at a time, keep that step even simple, you know.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's a good reminder because we live in a pretty complex world. And let's make it less complex with the eating because we have to eat. And if we keep it simple, we'll probably be more consistent. It'll help us to be more consistent
Hmm.
than when it's complicated.
And she also talked about keeping it simple as far as the choices, because most of us where we live, we have every single food we ever want at our disposal.
Mm,
We can just go to the grocery store and get whatever we want, and it's not in season or whatever, and flown from halfway across the earth. to
yeah, yeah, you're right. And that reminds me of what did she term it as? She said, this, I mean, what you just said, having such a plethora of choices can lead to decision anxiety or food overdose.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably both is really what happens.
Yep. Yep. And that doesn't sound like a good, I mean, decision anxiety. Like that would mean that there are different scenarios where you might not even make a decision at all. Some
Hmm.
people may not choose to eat because they can't remember what they want to eat or what's the best thing to eat, and they get caught up with that
Hmm.
versus someone who just makes a snap judgment and doesn't think at all. They just pick something that the advertising's the best, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I think you could get overwhelmed. Decision. Okay, let me say that again. Decision anxiety, and
yeah.
that then you're like, I don't know what to get for what's a good option, so I'm just going to get anything.
Yeah.
I think it does take a little planning, or a little knowledge, pre-knowledge, So that's what we're hoping we can share some of that today too.
Exactly. I think a little planning and prior knowledge, both of those are
Mm-hmm.
good things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then and then the food overdose because there's so many things available to us. And I have to be honest, I was in that category for a long time. Yeah. I remember being in high school and just working one city away from my home and on the way there I'd stop in Jack in the Box and then
Mm-hmm.
on the way home I would stop at McDonald's. There were just so many choices.
Yeah, on every corner,
Yeah.
there's a different choice, right?
I
And
had to
some
try
days
them
you
all.
just, yeah, some days you just wanted it all. So, but we're here to say, let's keep it simple. Let's have an idea about what we're looking for before we go to the grocery store. I mean, those are some all about learning new habits and keeping it simple.
Yeah, that's
So, I think the next thing was about daily variety.
mm,
Um, I mean, variety is good, right? Variety is excellent, especially I know many of you probably have seen um, videos or read, variety, especially in the plant food um, category, because it creates a healthy microbiome. Your
mm,
gut bacteria likes a lot of variety. But she wanted to stress that not to that there are certain things that's not to be eaten every day of the year. I mean, like certain foods don't grow like we're in our winter.
yeah.
But um, there are certain foods that don't grow here now. Um, so we, you know, shouldn't really be buying those. And have you
Mm.
noticed that the foods that are seasonal, though, they are priced better?
No, I had not, but I'm glad you're telling me that because so many things have been reminding me to do seasonal because at the farmer's market, I've been going more consistently and talking to the farmers, and they'll share with you about what's in season. And once in a while, they may even offer things that are not, but they'll tell you that they got it from wherever. But
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just a good reminder that it's not that we're against variety, because like you said, variety is always a great thing. The colors and all that, but indulge in the variety of what's offered that season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah,
Mhm.
excellent. Okay. So we're still keeping it simple. It's still falling under new habits, keeping it simple, make a variety. Yeah, but stress free eating.
Mm. Yeah. You're good about reminding me about that. I don't think for me, I don't think I've ever really thought about stress and eating because I've never really felt stress. But some
Okay.
people, they do, and that's why they either don't eat or they overeat, or when they're eating, you can fill us in on how that's not good to have stress when you eat.
Yeah, that's me. I'm prone to stress. Not eating because I'm stressed, but sometimes maybe someone says, "Hey, you should eat." And I was like, "I'm not hungry because I'm doing something." And it may not be a negative stress. It just may be like I'm just busy. I'm busy, but I shouldn't be eating when I'm busy or when my mind is not on eating. I think, you know, I'm sure Stormy would say you shouldn't sit and eat and watch TV or do something else because you're not even focused on what you're eating, what you're chewing, or whatever. But I think that it's really different if you have someone to sit with and eat and a conversation. I think that's natural because you're going to take pauses. You're going to,
Mhm.
you're going to stop something really interesting. They say something interesting. You're going to probably stop chewing so you can hear better, or something like that. But so stress-free eating. Don't eat when stressed. Some people cannot eat when stressed,
Mm.
and you definitely shouldn't eat when stressed. So I guess try and make a peaceful, we learned about peace already. Try and make a peaceful environment for eating.
And you know what?
Because
Maybe that's the key for me is
hmm
that like you have a nighttime routine and your bath and all that. I have an eating routine. Okay. Like I don't, if my phone rings, first of all, I may not even notice, but if it does, I don't go to my phone. It's like after I'm done eating, I will get to my phone. But I also put on my specific songs. My family knows. They're like, if they come in the kitchen, certain what person's playing, that's my eating music. And even if there's no one here, I'm listening to a certain kind of music and I'm eating. And as I'm preparing what I'm eating, I'm then sitting down, looking and appreciating all that I prepared, and then taking that time listening to my meat. Like I have a routine for eating when I'm
so
eating.
when does that happen? Is that any time of the day, or does it normally happen at the end of the day, or
No, every time I eat,
just
unless,
every time you eat?
yes, unless,
Yeah, and see,
there's an exception.
mhm. I can't relax myself like that anytime to eat, and that's the issue. I usually don't have pre-made meals, which if you're out there, get those pre-made, you've made meals for yourself and stored them in the fridge or wherever they need to be stored. So that's really difficult for me because I'm more relaxed at the end of the day. I'm more relaxed to eat at the end of the day. And I think so, I was just thinking about all this stuff we've been talking about. It's just we have to know who we are, you know, and we've got to do things that fit us, in order to achieve what we want to achieve. So, um,
And
well,
we
I
have to
like that. I like
prioritize.
that you have music that you know.
I'll say it, I don't mind sharing it. Susan Boyle and my kids and my husband are like, oh my goodness, her again. But she plays every day, at least once or twice a day, because I eat at least usually twice a day, maybe once. But that's another subject. But I do that, and I've been intentional to prioritize. Like I don't have pre-made meals, but thankfully, because I'm at home a lot of the times, I can throw together like after this. I will be throwing together a quick salad, but it will be huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lots
Yeah.
of,
And then there's the person like me who doesn't want to take the time to do it because I rather do other things. And what was the other thing? Um, I know this. If I could be eating, and so this is something I need to change, everyone. I can be eating, and I think of something else that needs, I will leave my food and go do that thing, you know? So that's why I say it's not ideal for me to eat unless I'm relaxed, unless I've created that space to eat, and usually that's at the end of the day. So I guess I'll just leave that there, but I think we just need to know who we are and what works best for us.
and grant ourselves grace. We're works in progress.
Hmm. Yeah. So there was some talk about eating out.
Mm, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I'll speak about this because I know I eat out more than you do. And I don't eat out as much as I used to, but I do eat out. And I feel less stressed about it, especially with the internet. Okay, let's be for me, anytime I'm going out with friends or even family, I find out where we're eating, where we are going to eat, and I check the menu online. And
Hmm.
I'll even call if I'm like, oh, I don't see anything or I'm not sure. But usually there's something, something. And if it's not an actual meal prepared, the lunch or the dinner, you can look at the what do you call it, a la carte type things and make up like maybe they have a couple vegetables or what. You can make something. You can come up with something. So I don't feel as stressed. I do not feel as stressed about eating out these days. I think with the what do you call it, social media and so many reviews. I look at reviews too.
Hmm. Hmm.
But just do a little
Yeah,
homework.
and
I
it's
feel
really
good.
good. Yeah, it's ideal when you have a lot of restaurants to choose from.
Uh,
But if you're not in an area where there are any good pickings, you have to be a little bit more choicey. But I think, like you say, a la carte. Yeah, I mean, most restaurants you can get something.
yeah.
Just one little thing. And I know those salads aren't as huge as you hope for. I mean, that's always my hope when I get a salad. I'm like, is this it? I've got to buy like five of these for, five side salads. So, and that would be ridiculously priced. But yeah, I just wish that they would offer more salad options and things like
Mm.
that. But you know, don't be afraid to, I guess, inquire with the cook. Like if you want, your potatoes with no butter, just ask for it. So.
That is a good point. That is, especially if you're going on somewhere for a special occasion and it's a higher end place, they want to please their customers. So there have been
Mhm.
times when I've said, "Oh, I'm looking for a plant-based option." Next thing you know, they'll describe something not on the menu.
Mhm.
Let us put some mushrooms with you. Would you like some mushrooms with so? And I'm like, mushrooms, sure.
Mhm.
So you're right. We should inquire the chef or the waiter, someone. Options.
So now we move on to, let's talk about special occasions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Well, I think this is another one where, again, if we start being more intentional and just doing a little pre-work, it's good. So if we are cultivating these good habits and staying consistent for the most part, when there's a special occasion, don't go overboard, but don't feel guilty about doing something that's not your norm. It's okay to indulge.
When this came up, I have this cute photo. I have this photo with my daughter in it, but if I find a place to share the one, maybe in the community notes without her, I won't share you. She was about 10 years old, and she was so excited that she had made me a special birthday cake,
Oh,
and it was made out of um, It was a sweet potato
Oh.
with candles on it because she knew I
Oh.
was not going to be eating cake that day.
Oh my, that is so cute. That is so precious.
That is
Yeah.
precious. That is so precious. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, that's very special.
Yeah,
Mm,
I'm going to post that. That was so cute. I found it today. I found the photo.
wow. But I did like what she said about like if you're normally and you're making habits and you're keeping to those habits, don't beat yourself up about the special occasion and you don't want to take away from that special occasion. And there have
Mm-hmm.
been times in the past where I was like, I look back and I'm like, I didn't need to be to that degree. You just have to know what's best for you. So just because it's a special occasion, if you're not wanting to drink alcohol because of the, you rather not drink your calories, you rather eat just because it's a special occasion doesn't mean you need to drink because everyone else is. You do
Mm-hmm.
whatever's special to you.
Mm-hmm.
You treat yourself. So for me, it might be like getting a piece of dessert normally that I don't, something like that. So I think it's important to acknowledge the special occasion in whatever way is best for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And don't stress out about it because we need stress-free eating.
That's
So,
right.
all
Remind
right.
what was next?
There was a little bit in there about, God's food and children's stomachs.
Mm,
How do you get
yeah,
your children to eat food the way God made it?
yeah. Wow. I don't think there's an easy answer, but you start.
Oh, well, I was just thinking, I'm not going to talk about what she said, but I remember that. And I remember, there are a lot of books like how
Mm.
to hide, you know, uh, vegetables in
I
here.
remember those books.
And you know what, though? Really, it's so unfortunate that many don't think that vegetables are good. Vegetables add such a depth of flavor. So, pureed vegetables in a sauce, I mean, that is like what is making the sauce stand out, you
Mm.
know?
Good point.
So, I mean, I always thought it made an even better sauce. Sometimes, I like, well, I want to bite on my tomato. I want to bite, whatever. But, I can always make extra on the side for myself to add even on
Mm.
top of that sauce. So that's something that someone may want to consider. But just pureeing the food, pureeing
Mm.
the sauces, especially like if in a soup you can puree all the vegetables that in the soup, and it just makes it more creamier and such. So,
I love your suggestion, and that's a good idea. And I think a key is also introducing your children early.
hmm
Early. My sister did that. Her kids are quite a bit younger than mine, but she introduced them to beets, carrots, celery, all these things as yummy snacks from an early age. So when I was going over there watching them in the summer, they were eating and content with hummus and carrot sticks because that's what they thought a snack would be, and beets with the hummus and things like that. So early exposure, and not that they have to like every single thing, but encourage them to try everything.
hmm
Try all these different foods. And I do like as the kids grow, we're not like, oh, you got to eat this, but encourage them to try things and then don't bring into the house things that you just don't think are good for them.
hmm yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a good reminder. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess that's all we'll talk about. But yeah,
Anything else,
there.
Johnny?
No, I'm just thinking. There's just a lot I can just think of for children's food, especially in the area of like desserts. You can all these fruit based desserts. Fruity sorbets and just things like that instead of ice cream. Your standard ice cream or popsicles that have a lot of sugar in them. Just basic fruit. And, hopefully you find some good sweet fruit out there.
Mm,
But fruit makes a great dessert.
it
So
does.
That could be
So,
something that that would be easy for children. Um,
I agree.
so
And especially in the hotter times, making those popsicles. I think my nephews like those popsicles made straight from not fruit juice, but
mhm, mhm,
fruit itself. And it's
mhm,
very yummy. Yeah, lots. And you know what? Just be encouraged. The only reason I want to say this is because our kids are older now, and I have seen my kids go through different stages. We're fortunate they were good eaters, but there came a time where they weren't eating as well. But that's a time to practice grace. And at the end of the day, they're miniature grown people. So one day they're going to make their own choices. And we've got to allow for that and not get stressed about
yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's what I have to keep reminding myself. Well, I kind of tell myself, well, I survived until now, with my horrible diet, but I just hope they could do a little better. And then, like, I remember the other day I was telling my daughter, yeah, I'm okay now, whatever, but boy, imagine if you started right now, imagine how, you know,
it. I
I
agree.
don't know,
This-
a little healthier we could
Yeah,
be, building, good foundation. That's all I'm thinking about.
yeah.
So,
What's the next one? Let's see.
um, vitamins.
Yeah, yeah. I wow. You can start on that
Oh,
one.
you know what? I don't remember. I don't remember if she did in here. I was talking to a nutritionist recently. I guess
Okay.
I'll put that up when I find it. She told me how to find a good vitamin. Like, yeah,
Oh,
there's
it's a website?
no, it would be on the vitamin itself, how
Oh,
it was tested or who, something like that. So I don't, I
because
forgot. I don't have that with
oh,
me,
okay.
but I will get it. Yeah, there's
I
certain.
have I have a thing right here of vitamins, and I just wondered if you would recognize if I read off the label
Hmm.
if it
It's
tell
usually, yeah, I don't have any in here. It's usually something. It's usually on the front. It's like circles, certifications and things like that.
this one has a K in some kind of shape. That's interesting,
Hmm.
but I've
I
never
think
seen
one
that.
started with G or something. I can't remember.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
when you get that, do
Mm-hmm.
share because that
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be transparent. I'm just somewhat overwhelmed when it comes to supplements, period. I've gone through, I like supplements and I've had plenty of them. And then I've gone through, I like them, but I don't want a lot of them because they cost a lot of money I don't want any because
Mm-hmm.
I should
Two,
be
I
able
want to get them all from
to,
natural foods.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then do I really get enough?
Mm-hmm.
Because
And that's
then there,
true because of farming practices and just our
yeah.
soul is depleted, right?
And where do we live? If you live in maybe Seattle, you may not get as much vitamin D, especially
Mm-hmm.
certain times of the year. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I guess the only thing I would say about vitamins and supplements is try your best to practice wisdom on getting quality ones,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what you're getting. And just because it's cheap, uh, well, there are some vitamins where you get what you pay for. I'll just say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I know she ended that part. She said, remember that vitamins will never replace food. So you still have to eat food, but additionally, it will not make up for poor eating habits. So you do vitamins alongside good eating habits.
Supplement, yes.
Yeah.
Not replace. That's
Mm-hmm.
true. Good reminder.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I think we should end it there on that on vitamin note and supplements.
Yeah. So what about labels? I think that's the big thing. And my point of view. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I would like to go into the grocery store and be able to get something that's, that has a label on it that I felt good about eating, other than sometimes, if I'm in an emergency, I'll have beans, they have a label, or I do buy rice in a package normally, or what's the other thing? Like maybe some pastas or something like that. Maybe, there are a few things, but ideally, we don't want to eat packaged foods. But let's talk about when we do. What about reading those labels?
Oh yeah, yeah. I do buy things that come in packages, and so do my family members. And but they know I'm a big proponent of label reading. And a funny story is my son, he now lives on his own, but he's like, Mom, I can't eat that Skippy anymore, or whatever main brand. He's like, I look at the label and I'm just like, why? Why is that sugar? And why is it? He's reading now labels, and he said, "You've messed it messes it up for me." So he wants to get the healthier ones because of the
Mm-hmm.
label.
Mm-hmm.
But just recently, and not to badmouth any particular brand, it's not as much about the brand, but some of these brands, they become very popular, and people associate them with, oh, that's a better alternative to another brand.
Mm-hmm.
For example, this one says protein pancake. Protein packed, I'm sorry, protein packed maple pancake, sausage, egg, and mild cheddar cheese sandwich. You got that right. This is not just pancakes, these are pancake sandwiches.
Are those frozen?
They are,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. And they have the fried egg, slice of cheese in between maple flavored pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially, if you're working out, you may not even look at anything other than a big label here that says 20 grams of protein per serving. That's a
Mm-hmm.
lot
Right.
of protein.
Mm-hmm. And since everyone's after protein
Yeah,
currently or whatever, yeah, they're like,
yeah,
oh, protein, and they get it. And
because it's
what did you say
convenient.
was what's all on there?
Um, Maple pancakes, the first ingredient, which this doesn't
Oh,
say, it has whole grain
right.
flour and whole grain oat, and this one doesn't, and brown sugar and canola oil. I'm not too sure about if this
Okay.
is good canola
But
oil
I
in
think
here.
I think you also, when you read the label,
Mhm.
you read that there was some saturated fat. Those numbers were really high and things
Oh,
like
the
that.
label itself. Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Mm-hmm.
The serving per contain. So one sandwich is 29% fat, 23 grams of fat, and then 8 grams of saturated fat. So that was 40%. It has 40% saturated fat. That's a lot of saturated fat. And then it has 28% cholesterol. That's high too.
Okay.
And wow, that, and then sodium 29%. 600, when I see 670 milligrams in one serving, that sounds high to me.
And that's milligrams of what?
Milligrams of sodium.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
670.
Wow.
That's a lot. And then it does have fiber.
How much
And
is
then
that?
the fiber is 3 grams, 11%, three
Oh.
grams.
Okay.
Not a lot. But then you have that big 20 grams of protein. But at what expense are you getting this protein?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it. What expense are you getting the protein?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
So that's
we,
something we need to be mindful of.
yes.
Not just looking at the advertisement that says 20 grams of protein. Okay. What else does it give me? So, okay.
Yeah, that was eye-opening.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be careful. Like this is a brand, like I said before, I had been using, giving to the kids years ago. So sometimes you just get used to a brand and like, oh, they're good. But
Mm-hmm.
lately, I've noticed in other brands too, like they're sneaking things in. I say
Yeah, they
sneak.
start sneaking them in. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't get me started. That's just like TV shows. You start watching it, it's so innocent, and then I was like, oh, well, forget this, you know. So yeah, okay. They hook you and then they sneak
Yeah.
it in.
Staying with the food. Anyway. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that
Yeah.
pancake example. And I'm sure that pancake example, wow, I'm just thinking about if we had to like line up all the pancake sandwich just from, you know, like I'm going to say bad to worse. It's just better that you do it at home.
That's a good point that you can just make your own pancakes and then have sausage and then scramble your eggs or put your eggs separately doing yeah because we don't know did they add what did they add for their eggs or do they have just eggs by itself? That's a good question. Pork sauce.
Mhm.
It's a fried egg patty with
Mhm.
egg whites and egg yolks and tapioca starch and gum
Mhm.
and citric. See those extra things
Yeah,
if you
we don't
just
need
fry
all
them.
that extra when we're eating breakfast, right?
No,
Or
no,
any food. But
true.
okay.
It's true.
All right. So, what affects diet and appetite? Now, she wrote this a long time ago. This book. How old is this book?
I think
25
2000
years or so?
is,
Yeah,
yeah,
25
25,
years.
over 25.
Okay. So, um, what did she touch on in that?
Well, the main thing I took away was what affects diet and appetite. She says seasons. So what
Okay.
she
Mhm.
went into more, at first I was a little like, what? But she's saying if you're living where it's hotter, then you probably don't need to eat a lot of heavy food.
Mhm. Mhm.
Versus if you're in a colder area climate,
Mhm.
you probably gravitating towards warm
Mhm.
food. And so that the seasons, and I think she maybe even reminded us about eating what's seasonally fresh too. Um, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I think finally she said, you may enjoy certain cuisines, but remember that all these fruits and vegetables are, you know, common to any cuisine that you
that's
decide to
true.
eat. So you
That's
can't
true.
blame that one either.
Yeah, that is
Well,
true.
you know.
One other thing she did touch on, though, what affects diet and appetite. I don't know if we always consciously think of it this way, but the amount of energy we're exerting. So if you're in a job that you're at the desk all the time, and then you're eating just like that person who's doing construction work, that's probably not the best fit.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Depends on how much brain power you're using, but yeah.
Well, no, because there are a lot of people who are in sedentary jobs eating the same, if not richer foods, ironically, to the persons who are doing physical labor.
Mhm.
And she's just pointing out, don't ignore that.
Right. Mhm.
It
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
was
If you're not
interesting.
moving, don't eat that much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what she said. You broke it down.
Only eat what you can burn. Now,
Basically, she was,
if your brain's gonna burn all that, yeah. Because I know there's sometimes I come to do something on my computer. I'm like, oh boy, I'm hungry. I'll sit here and say I'm hungry. I'll go in there. There's nothing to eat, and then I'll just grab some nuts and come back and do my work. But
and some others. Well, anyway, we're good. Let us move on. Let us move on. Wow, helpful hint. Yeah,
mm-hmm. She actually listed 15 of them.
um,
I guess maybe, well, we'll tell you where you can get the book, and then
yes,
you can go have a look at that.
I agree. There
Were
are
there
so
any
many.
that stood out to you that you highlighted here?
Actually, like you said, I think people should get the book and read
Definitely.
page 15 and 16 of it because they were all good. But I think the first was it the first one? Let me look real quick.
I think
Um,
there's some summaries here too about
there's
what, yeah, some are summaries about what she's already talked about. Some ideas, some tips. Like 6 says,
oh
eliminate one or two foods from the foods to avoid list every week. and add from the foods to include list.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's some hints, some tips, like a little bit
Yeah.
of review there. Um, Specifically, don't eat fried food.
Yeah. And don't eat overcooked or processed
Uh
food.
huh.
No, I
Chew
forget.
well.
What was that?
Chew well.
Oh, chew well. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
We just
Yeah.
finished read labels.
Yeah.
And 50% of every meal should consist of raw or properly cooked fruits and vegetables.
Good reminder. That's a good one. I like
So
that.
that is an excellent one thing to take out of this where you can learn a new habit. It's simple. Um,
That's true.
it will create a daily variety. I'm just looking back at all these points that she had because you're eating fruits and vegetables. That daily variety there. Stress free because you know you're
Yeah.
going to eat 50% of fruits and vegetables, right?
Yeah.
When you go eat out, you know you can get fruits and vegetables, so maybe just make that your plate, your fruits and vegetables
Mm.
while you're out. That'll be your serving. When you get back home, you can eat the other foods
Yeah.
that are, better
That's
for you.
simple. Keeping it
Mm-hmm.
simple.
Mm-hmm. Special occasions, they have those fruit bouquets and things like
Oh,
that.
yeah. That's right. Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Thinking outside the
Get
box, Shonda. Thinking outside the box. You are good.
and we already talked about food for children, so those strawberry sorbet and things
Mm.
like that would be wonderful to share with a child. So,
Yep.
and they don't even have labels. Most fruit do not. So,
Mhm.
get your fruit without labels.
Stress free and simple. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's about it. That about sums up that chapter.
Except for the last that she had the God's way, a way of life. And I thought this was a great way to end. It says, the more you know about God's food and his intended way for us to grow it, prepare it, and eat it, the easier it will be for you to make this your way of life.
Mm-hmm.
We want this to become a way of life, not like a chore or like it's a diet. It's just like no, it's not one and
Mm-hmm.
done. It's a way of life.
It's a way of life that will be rewarded, I believe.
Mm. Mm.
Through better health.
Mm. Amen.
Yeah. So that's about it. So we just want to say, remember to keep it real.
Yes, keep it real. Have a good night, Shonda.
Have a good night. I think I can throw over a link if anyone wants to join us for maybe 10 minutes or so. I'll try and do that in the chat now.
Okay.
So um,
Okay.
you can hold on there and we'll get there. There is
Okay.
a chat. It's right there. Uh-oh. It's coming. I need to send one to you too, don't I? Oh, you can get it. Oh, well, you're not in the chat.
I just opened it. Huh. Oh, I guess I'm not in the right chat. So, yeah, you're
You're
right.
not in the right chat? Okay. Let's go ahead and
I'm in the Zoom chat.
I'm sending it to you. We'll close this one out so we can do a little editing and we'll see y'all next time.
Till next time, just be real. Bye bye.